Hey everybody, Chase from CN Woodwork here. I've been getting requests to do more videos, so let's see what we've got this time. So, found some half-inch ply, just maple veneered. It's unfinished on one side and finished on the other side. Nothing too special. Also found some 1/4 inch. This is plywood though. I found this, I think this is a poplar, looks like poplar to me, beam that I can use. I don't have a chuck on my lathe and I've been using it a lot more. So it helps to have a big thick piece of wood that I can cut and square up, and then I can just glue whatever I'm trying to turn onto the lathe since I don't have a chuck. Lots of glued up pieces. These are all pieces from cabinet shops. They glue these up to make a panel so they don't have to pay the full board foot price when they buy lumber. So I got a few of those. Just some small pieces of walnut. As you can see, this piece has a strip that's longer, so basically they have all of these that they've ripped from other pieces, and then they just glue them all up to make a panel, run them through the planer and the drum sander, and then they can make a panel out of it. And it's a lot cheaper than buying thick stock lumber. I've got lots of little pieces as normal. These I plan on doing some kind of resin impregnation and doing maybe like some pen blanks or something, and these pieces would be really cool for that. It's just some rustic hickory is what it looks like. So here's one that was glued up, but looks like it got this is also a hickory too, but it looks like it got a crack right here, so it wasn't enough material for them to use, but still definitely usable for me. And this one as well, this one's maple. It looks like we've got, if you can look down, they ran it through the joiner. Their joiner looks a little rough. They got a lot of ridges here, but it looks like they got some good snipe off of that joiner, and off the joiner or the planer maybe, and kind of screwed up the board there. So it's not. So you can see it's about an inch thick here, and it's about maybe not even 3/4 on this side. So then they have these. So these pieces are when the hickory is finally done, or whatever they glue up, really, because they glue up maple and hickory and cherry and whatever else they're employed to make. It turns into a pretty nice looking finished product. I mean, it looks a little interesting because you can see the contrasting grain, and then it looks like they're getting a lot of chip out of these specific pieces. So somebody was making some door panels with this, and you can see the sides totally chipped out. And then you can see this one too, same scenario. They were, cutting a piece out of it, probably doing this profile right here, almost an inch thick in the center there. So, and here's another one too, just a square. Lost a corner on it. I also found this tarp. It's a tarp for a tent, so it's got like a big window in it that's got a net on it or whatever. So I don't have any plan for it right now, but might come in handy at some point. Then I'll just take the opportunity to show you a couple little things that I've been working on. All right, so a few little things. Like I said, I've been turning a bit more. So I've been working on just kind of getting practice making some bowls. This was a stump that was, I don't know, probably 10, 15-year-old stump. But I cut it up and tried to turn a bowl out of it. It was just so chunky, I had to soak it in mineral oil for a long time for it to absorb it all, and then just could not. I power sanded the crap out of this, and it still has big chunks taken out. So it didn't quite turn out, but it was an interesting little project. Look at this grain though, the grain on it. If I could have got it to turn out, the grain on this is pretty awesome. You can see where it's got a bunch of like mold growth in there that looks really cool. It would have been a pretty cool piece, but now it's kind of an ashtray. Then there's this one, which is another just kind of my neighbor saved some cherry for me, just some cherry logs, and I just decided to turn. Normally you'd kind of split the log and then you turn the good parts because you don't want the center. This one had a hole in the center, so as you can see, I turned it with the hole in the center. And so the inside's a little ugly because I had to glue it up. Like I said, I don't have a chuck, so it's not like I can just put it on there to do it. I have to glue anything to what I do, or mount it there with screws or whatever. And then since it had the hole in the bottom, it wasn't really going to be usable. So I kind of just cut and put a plug in there with the wood that was from this. It made for like kind of an interesting little bowl. The top cracked, I had to re-glue it. But you know, it's all part of the learning process. Kind of fun and funny at the same time. And there's this one. Once again, a piece that my neighbor saved. They cut down a birch tree. And this one I thought was cool because it just happened to be the way that I mounted it on the lathe was that I turned it around and there were still pieces of bark on there. So I figured I'd glue the bark down and they'd kind of become part of the finished piece, which ended up being pretty cool actually. I had a little problem though. A stupid thing I did. I tried to fill these with CA glue, these little spots where the bark had chipped off. I tried to fill them with CA glue while the top was attached, and that did not work out very well. I ended up gluing it shut. So then I had so now the bottom's a mess because I had to drill out the bottom and smack this with a hammer and a screwdriver to get the top off. And then if I undo it, you can see where the top is. I still gotta sand this flush and finish the inside. But yeah, that was pretty funny too. It would have been a cool little bowl or a little lidded box or whatever. I think I showed in my shop tour that I had some wood drying. It's a big, somebody cut down a big elm tree that I saw, and I stopped and picked up the pieces. This is what the wood looks like, just kind of one of the rounds that I took that's just completely been checked beyond usable condition. But there were also some pieces that I kind of freehand milled down, and it actually, I couldn't believe how gratifying it was to mill down from logs. Granted, it would have been a little more gratifying if I would have chopped the tree down, but to mill down from logs and freehand, let it dry, and then join it and plane it and get it looking nice. And look how beautiful that wood turned out. It's pretty amazing. As you can see, there's lots of kind of little wormholes, I guess, in there. But this wood is really cool, and I have a bunch of this that I've got to finish before winter hits because I can't have it outside during the winter. And I kind of kept the live edge on there. This side broke off a little bit, but that's just unexpected. And I would say it's probably one of my most rewarding times in woodworking is, I jointed one side and I was, oh, that's pretty good. And then I ran it through the planer, and after that final pass through the planer, and I put a little mineral spirits on it because you can't resist the urge, right? And that was a moment to behold. But anyways, that's what I found this week. And a little bit of sharing about me in the shop. And if you want to check out my Instagram, I always post kind of inside stuff from the shop there too. Also Facebook. Add me on all the social networking stuff you'd like, and like, subscribe. You guys have a good one.